Good morning, Bear Nation. How are we? Fabulous, I hope. Good morning, Project Management has had his coffee, or her coffee, or its coffee. Are you okay this morning, sir? Shalom, Jeremy. Nicholas, good morning. Alaska. Sorry about that, man. I do. Hunter Seeker, good morning, brother. Had a toddler in the med. Good morning, JK Iron Man. Good morning, brother. I had a toddler in the bed, a squirmy little toddler that has the obnoxious yet somehow cute, but definitely obnoxious habit of sleeping upside down. So I've been waking up to this the last few mornings, which are little feet just, I'm awake. So, good morning, Vester Dylan. Still up from a long night of fighting crime amongst the Bear Nation. Watchman, good morning. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate y'all. I just had just now had a very cool experience. The gentleman that works the front desk at the hotel that I'm staying at came out here and dropped a couple of bottles of water off at my table out here on the patio, and he said, "Mr. Bear, have a great brief. Stay positive." And then walked away. That's awesome. That's very cool. Yeah. Very cool. So, thank you, sir, at the front desk. You're awesome. And thank y'all for being here. Very cool. Oh, he's not a bellhop. He's the manager. But yeah, very cool. Very cool. Scott Brooks, shalom, brother. Blue wrenches in the house. Sorry. Sorry, carry on, sorry. Listen, thank you all for being here. You guys and girls are freaking awesome, and I appreciate you. We wouldn't do this if y'all weren't here. It'd be weird, right? No, don't have an ETA for power back on. In fact, if you're on Patreon, yesterday I posted another 10-ish minute video. Mr. Brees, good morning, of what's going on at the homestead and where we are in that process. I also, as always on Patreon, the entirety of this report is on Patreon, so you can check it out there. Patreon is the economic engine of the Bear Nation. It just is. Because, like Mike Bates says, YouTube fails to notify. So every morning, Norman, because they've been deleted, they'll be put back up again in a minute. Ashley Storms, good morning. YouTube don't like us. We don't like them back. Neither one of us is shy about it. And so Patreon allows us to do what we do here. So if you got $1 or more in your budget and you're wondering what to do with it, good morning, Seth Denson. Shalom, brother. Patreon's a great place to start, especially with all the craziness that's going on in the world today. Like what just dropped on Patreon this morning was my philosophy on body armor. Like there's so many questions around soft armor, hard armor, level 4 plates, level 3 plus. When do I take it? What about this? What about that? Good morning, Air Force retired. So that video just dropped on Patreon this morning. Intel at bearindependent.com is where you send all your intel. If you have things you'd like to share with us, please send them to intel at bearindependent.com. Many of y'all reached out yesterday and corrected me on my statement about mask wearing and carrying firearms and said, I was unaware that Texas amended its laws. Sister Francis, good morning, Sister Francis. You are a rock star. I was unaware that Texas had amended its laws, and apparently in several other places that's not the case as well. So My bad if your jurisdiction is different than my perception of your jurisdiction. But in many places, it is still an issue to carry a gun and wear a mask. So, apologies asterisk. All right. Shall we do the report? I gotta chug this coffee first. Whoo. And, brief aside. I spent a large portion of my life living in hotels. And this is a great hotel where we're at. It's a great hotel. It's awesome. But I don't miss it. You know what I miss? My bed. Good morning, Mountaineer. And my coffee pot. And I'm turning it into a homebody, I guess. And food, real food. Had Chinese food 3 days ago, had pizza 2 days ago, had burgers yesterday, and my gut is like, boy, you better stop it. Knock it off. Go eat real food again. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. What do you think about Amon Amarth? Elevator music. What do you think about Belphegor? Nah, they're cool. Morning, Badger. Oklahoma land deal going on, Ben. If you're talking about the fact that I am now on the United States reservation of Bearstan, I got a whole video on it that's here on YouTube. Country Prepper feels very passionately about this. He's yelling about it. Oh, I see that incognito. Good try, Mr. Brees. 7/14/20, 14 July 2020 overview, Bear Independent Intel report. Number of confirmed cases worldwide and in the United States continues to climb. Be oily, shalom. Appreciate you, Vester. As of the time of this reporting, global cases are 13,200,000 with just shy of 5 million active cases. Good morning, Pete. Global deaths are 574,754,000. 574,754. Interesting. Rebel. Sorry, yeah. I got to set a track hoe after this. We got stuff to do on the homestead, man. So, homestead and surrounding Bear Clan area. So, I got 900 foot of power and water trench to dig today. So, yeah. Interesting indeed, Yakamudi. Good morning, Lucky. Global recoveries are 7.683 million. U.S. cases are 3,474,000 with just shy of 1.8 million active cases. U.S. deaths are 138,000 and U.S. recoveries are 1,543,000. Reopening reversals. Thank you, Easton Farmer. If I was sitting like a Link Belt 220, no biggie. But this little track hoe is almost the kind that you could fit in the back of a pickup truck. It's a little tiny 3.3 ton, the one that you would park in the bucket of the 365 Caterpillar. So 900 foot in that thing is gonna be, it'll be an all day event. So, reopening reversals continue. California's governor has ordered the cessation of indoor operations for restaurants, movie theaters, and more. Shalom. And bars will be closed entirely in the state. Better than a shovel. Amen. Oregon has banned indoor gatherings of more than 10 people, in addition to its mask requirements outdoors if a 6-foot distance cannot be maintained. All good, Hans de Jong. Do what you gotta do, man. Petitions to remove officials are underway, which is almost what I titled this brief this morning, and then realized that that's a really long title. Hard to, yeah. But petitions to remove officials are underway. A petition to recall Seattle's mayor will be moving forward to the gathering of signatures. There is also a petition to remove the mayor and 4 city council members of Norman, Oklahoma. A petition to remove Madison, Wisconsin's mayor has also begun. I think this is good. I think it's good, honestly, because we, the people, should, Norman. Well, Norman's a college town, man. Like, it's a college town. It's screwy. It's screwy. It's good because we, the people, need to have our voices heard. Like, it's how government is supposed to work. If you do things that I disagree with, I should have the right to remove you from a position of authority over me. So, state and local governments strapped for cash are looking at increasing property and wealth taxes. This, of course, is just an indicator of economic crisis. Nashville, Tennessee, will be seeing a 34% increase in property taxes. Dallas's proposed 8% tax hike proposal failed as the council feared, quote, they would be creating the next disaster for Dallas, end quote. I mean, Dallas just had, a few years ago, had a major issue with the ongoing funding of their police pension. I believe it was their police. I don't remember. I don't live there anymore, so it's hard for me to remember. But the city, Dallas anyway, and it could just be the reporting is skewed, but it seems to constantly be in a state of we need more money. And it's like, I don't get to play that game. I need more money. I'm just going to beg, borrow, cajole, steal. Yeah, Dallas, Indiana. Not Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Indiana. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I see what you did there. Minnesota's request for disaster declaration after the riots in the Twin Cities has been denied by the federal government. I think that was a good move. Repeat, Minnesota's request for disaster declaration after the riots in the Twin Cities has been denied by the federal government. It wasn't a disaster, you let them riot. Governor Walz can appeal within the next 30 days. So, I think that's good. So, reopening reversals. People are tucking tail and running. I mean, I know in Arkansas, a lot of places are requiring masks and special seating arrangements and yada yada yada. Good morning, Tony John. Shalom, brother. Officials are being removed. I think it's you, Prepton, Kansas, but I don't know that. Poop in your own backyard, you get to clean it up. I like that, Badger. There's one, I was always told it was an old Indian saying, which I can say because I am one. Said you don't crap where you eat. Except I didn't use the word crap. I always found that to be very poignant. You don't poop where you eat. So, anyway, speaking of not pooping where you eat, bearindependent.com. Adnan Fazlik, Northern Cali. Hey man, it's all good. Bless you. No, I don't mind a fan from Northern Cali. I have family in Northern Cali. I wish they weren't in Northern Cali. I wish you weren't in Northern Cali, but I get it. It's beautiful there, man. It's beautiful. It's the same reason that I don't live in upstate New York anymore, man. It was beautiful, but it was politically untenable. So, you know, if I have this, makes me a felon where you are and where I was. All right, great poop talk, everybody. Bearindependent.com, especially reindeer poop, especially Sammy, especially reindeer poop. So yes, you can use your HSA, your health savings accounts for first aid kits and for tourniquets and all the other kinds of kits. Nothing like a morning poop. Gobra 2, don't talk me into it. I got a live stream to do. So the bare fact, the bare minimum, handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever, North American rescue components, actively saving lives, 10 lives saved, spinning up to be able to produce even more of these things, carry an inventory, and greatly reduce our fulfillment times. All that's taking place behind the scenes right now. And so if you have a health savings account in HSA, at checkout, you can use, thank you, Cassie, thank you for that poignant equation. Gentlemen, children, settle down. Good morning, Big Joe. You can use your HSA card at checkout for the bare fact, the bare minimum tourniquets, and I believe the stomp bag. The HSA worked for the stomp bag. Bless you, Mark. Thank you for letting me know. So, and then we also have all of the individual components of the blowout kits. You know, your chest seals, your combat gauze, your tourniquets, your shears, all that stuff is all in the store. So, I think you should be able to get just the, yeah, you should be able to get the pack insert as well, trauma pack insert. It's a first aid kit. Francis Perez, bless you, Sister Francis. Hey, it's been a while since we've done this. We need a clap hand for Sister Francis. Everybody clap it up right now, or I'm shutting it down. And don't try me, because I've done it before, and I'll do it again. You rock, Sister Francis. Send it. Send it. Put a smile on our sister's face. She's the bomb. Bless you, sister. You rock. There's very few people, very few, like count on one hand the number of people that we will pause a live stream for and clap hand for. Sister Francis is in the top 5. You're awesome. Shalom, sister. So, HSAs at the Bear Store, bearindependent.com, they work on blowout kits, and we are doing like all the big things that I can't announce yet because it's not set in stone yet, but gosh, we are spinning it up super hardcore on the back end to be able to double, maybe triple our production capacity on these things. So really looking forward to that. Herkimer 8. Herkimer, man, I know all about Herkimer. I wonder if you're where I think you are. Bless you. All right. Also, while you're there, you can get your patches, your hats, your t-shirts, your stickers, your prepper notebook, prepper classroom binders, all that stuff. It's all available at the Bear Store. Ally, I appreciate you. I've been unsubscribed from more freaking channels that I support than I can count. It sucks. So make sure you use your HSA card at checkout, not PayPal, and it'll work. Hour west of Herkimer, roger that. All right, moving right along. 2 or more eyewitness accounts. Continuity of infrastructure and supply chains. These are mostly, they are all repeating, but they bear repeating. See what I did there? Thank you, Dance Monkeys, for the opportunity to make a phenomenally bad pun. Repeating, the coin shortage continues. Kroger will not be giving out coins at registers. Kroger, for those that don't know, is a fairly large grocery store chain. Kai Vimpa KY, yes, if it's, so, okay, briefly back to the HSA. The HSA, Health Savings Account, parameters are, it needs to be a first aid kit or first aid supplies, medical supplies, and or equipment. So if it's those things at the Bear Store, your HSA should work for sure. If you also wanted to get a sticker, for example, I would do that on a separate order because that is not a first aid kit, medical supplies, and or equipment. So go with the stomp bag. Bless y'all. Like, honestly, it's this, all these things that we're building together are incredible. We are building Bear Independent together every day, day by day. We are doing this together. And if you're out there lurking in the shadows but not subscribed, please subscribe. It's like it's the simplest gesture that you can extend to us here on YouTube as a show of support. So if you're looking in the shadows, please subscribe. We're building this together. We are building Grindstone together, which, by the way, I have a conversation to have with somebody. Not because they did a bad thing, but because they did an awesome thing. We've got 2 very large checks yesterday for Grindstone from one person who is here amongst the nation, and bless you, brother. That's all I will say. I've got half a mind to show up on your doorstep. But yeah, we are building Grindstone together. And we are building Bare Facts together. I'm telling you, like, we are doing all this together, and I am very well aware of how interconnected and interdependent we are. And I really, really appreciate y'all. I'm not, like, I feel like a lot of people pay lip service to that. I get it. I really, really appreciate y'all. So thank you. All right. So Kroger is a pretty large grocery store chain here in this area of the world: Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, possibly other areas. Hemi, bless you. Thank you. So they're no longer giving change. Repeating, while companies have stepped up to produce soap and sanitizer after the first huge surge of demand, there's now a shortage of the pumps used on bottles of soap and sanitizer. So, Wes, how far ham radios will reach is dependent upon a lot of things. Amplitude, how many amps does your equipment have? What type of antenna are you using? Is it omnidirectional or directional? What type of terrain and what type of weather phenomena, conditions? Yeah, line of sight simplex. There's a lot to that. Repeaters, exactly. I know a guy who runs a company called Preparedness.com that's working on a thing. And I can't talk about it yet, but I can't wait that I can. Midwest Mini Homestead. Roger, will do. Bless you. So, I got 2 canned hams. Amen. Todd Masterboni, good morning. Still owe you an email, brother. I'm sorry. Anyway, how far will a ham radio go is like, how much does a car cost? Well, a 1984 poop brown Toyota Tercel is way different than a candy apple red 2020 Maserati. So how much does a car cost? Wes, bless you. There's, Wes, you might look into a book. There's several good books out there, but the one I have is called Ham Radio for Dummies. And I realized when I started reading that book that, oh, dummies are smarter than I am. I was like, gosh, dang. But all that being said, worth checking out. So, Tales from the Cryptid, roger that. Will inform my son about HSA. He will be thrilled. Awesome. Bless y'all. Man, all the usual suspects in here. Haunted's here, Vester's here, Ashley's here, Project Management Prepper. All right, moving right along. Car manufacturing may be dipping again as factory production is slowed due to safety protocols stemming from the coronavirus. Miss Hermit Hill is here, Chris is here, Prepper Days is here, Shield Wall, good morning, Philly Flash, Tales from the Cryptid, all of our people. The Bear Nation is here. Jesse's here, Sarah's here. I love it. I love it. These are not platitudes. I have said before, and I'll say it again, and I mean it. The day this becomes normal, I'm out. I'm out. When it becomes normal that this many people, 833 people, care what I have to say, I'm out. I'm done. When this starts being taken for granted, I expect y'all to jump in my ass and say, Bear, you've got it out of balance. Cassie's here. Know what I mean? Thank you, Philly Flash. J.A. Dudley, good morning, brother. Dudley's here. And I bet if Dudley's here, lovely Dudley's haunting around this place somewhere. All right. Legal, political, and military. Jack, I appreciate you, brother. In Philadelphia, state police are conducting social distancing inspections. Let's repeat that. In Philadelphia, state police are conducting social distancing inspections, and 2 restaurants have been closed for such violations so far. And Bear is here. 8 party attendees who refused to work with contact tracers in Rockland County, New York, were issued subpoenas and threatened with $2,000 fines if they did not cooperate. NWA Prepper, good morning, brother. Oh, we'll be talking about you in a minute. Just hold on. I got some notes right here, bro. Just hold on. Verified by VA State Police. Appreciate that. Good morning, Chris. Nick Raquinha. I messed it up. Is here. Nick Raquinha. I feel like there's like a sorry, bro. I'm trying. I can't. I'm all the whites. I can't. I don't got that. I don't know how to do that. But you were here, Nick. Howdy from Boswell. Chell, be careful. You better nail it down or somebody will walk away with it if you live in Boswell. Right? And Yankee Survival's in here. Good morning. Where in Rockland? I'm from there. Oh man, Fave 311, we got a chat. You ever been thrown out of the Raintree Motel in Congers because you were just gonna have a small get together and 50 people showed up because there was a keg? You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway. So these partygoers in Rockland are not cooperating. So much for the county health commissioner's statement. Quote, my staff has been told that a person does not wish to or have to speak to my disease investigators, end quote. So, yeah, instead of, hey, you only have to comply voluntarily, instead you'll just be, I like you most of the time in the Catskills. Well, Joyce, thanks. I guess you're okay too. I'm quite familiar with the Catskills. Spent a lot of time in the Jewish Alps. Know all about the White Mountains. Yeah, I've been all through there. You should go to Gloversville, Joyce. Go to the Walmart in Gloversville. It's a good place to get your beans and rice. Maybe you'll like me a little bit more after a trip to Gloversville. I appreciate your pseudo support, Joyce. It's okay. It's okay. I'm a little much for too many. For a lot of people, I'm a little much. I'm not a Jew either. Joyce, we have a misunderstanding. It's okay. You're derailing the show for 876 other people. I love you back, Toronto Gnome. That's a great name, Toronto Gnome. Societal in general, 3 churches were burned over the weekend in Alabama, Florida, and California. So that's not so bueno. I would go out on a limb and say that's not good at all. So, thank you, April. That's what I'm trying to say. So, church burnings. This is back, huh? Keep an eye on that. The left-right paradigm, if you will allow me that. The left is proving itself to be incredibly intolerant. We have, this is something we've been talking about for years, and the concept of their They want you to tolerate them, but they don't want to tolerate you, right? And so it's kind of one way tolerable, one way tolerant. You know, we have to, and it's easy to make the comparison that, like, I identify as a fluffy rainbow unicorn kitty, and I like to poop in boxes, and my name is Sven, and you will use my pronoun, which is Zer. And like, it's very easy to go there, thank you, Patrick, bless you, and say, that's the whole left. We don't oftentimes go to the whole right and like, well, my name's Jethro, and I like to ride around in my pickup truck with 2 shotguns, one pointed out of each window, with a Confederate battle flag screaming, yeehaw! Like, the extremes very rarely represent the entirety of the left-right paradigm. However, the extremes on the left have been far better at shifting the Overton window than the extremes on the right have. And so, as a result, the compassionate tolerating that we have needed to do as a society lately has all been in one direction. And it started with like, well, maybe there should be, well, it started millennia ago, but that's another story for another time. I feel like those 2 characters should go on a date. Ashley, that's awesome. Let's do this up. Let's do this. We're gonna start a show called Worlds Apart. It's gonna be the name of it, and it'll be like 2 people from like opposite ends of the spectrum, and we'll just put them like in. It'll be like those dating shows that used to come on at like 2 o'clock in the morning on public access, and it'd be like some alcohol-fueled ridiculousness, and they could just start fighting. I think that's called wife swap. Good point. Good point. Anyway, the point here is that there seems to be one group that's required to tolerate a lot more than the other group. And frugal, I've been hearing that for years. I am not Match.com, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Democrats and their constituents. That's a great comment. We're in the weeds, but here's the point. As these churches are being burned, we've seen more and more extreme action from the violent minority on one end of the paradigm, while demonizing the potential for violence from the minority on the other end of the paradigm. That's a problem. It's something to be aware of. How you deal with that, humble and kind, amen. How you deal with that depends on the immediacy of the threat in your area. The silent majority has become irrelevant almost. I think it's time to no longer be silent. Only about 12 yards on that one. There's no backwind. We can't be silent anymore, and I don't mean, and here's what I mean by that. I do not mean that we paint a bunch of signs and scream like idiots, and that for every time they have a temper tantrum, we need to have a temper tantrum as counterpoint to their temper tantrum. What I mean is we must start speaking up and explaining why this is a bad idea. Explaining to our kids why that doesn't work. Why we're not going to do that. I think it starts with that. We've been quiet on a lot of things. We've been quiet on a lot of things. And I think in a lot of ways, allow me this, I think in a lot of ways, the conservative end of the spectrum has onboarded as much propaganda from their leaders as the progressive side of the spectrum. And so we don't have the talking points because we don't have the depth of experience either. So we're taking pot shots at one end of the spectrum while we represent values on the other end of the spectrum, but we're not doing it in many cases either. Do you think they will listen to us? I don't think they will, but it's not, see, here's the problem. You're stuck in the us versus them paradigm. I'm not trying to win this battle by taking them off of the playing field. I'm just trying to win by having more pieces and making sure the pieces that I have are better trained, better educated, more bought in, right? I want my children to know the Most High. I want my children to know what work looks like. I want my children and my friends and my family and my neighbors and my tribe to humble themselves and be kind and understand blood, sweat, and tears and know how to grow food and know how to protect themselves and to be good, high quality human beings. And so how do we combat what's going on the other side of that spectrum? Be good, high quality human beings. Live it. And then that gives you the authority to speak it, to be it. And then you don't have to worry about, well, how do we explain this to them? You just be it. You just be it. It's the same question. Well, how do I get my wife on board with prepping? Be it. She will see it. Sin is lawlessness. Amen, Andrew. I knew we were going there. People ask me all the time, how do I had this conviction of faith. How do I get my family to follow? You live it. Stumps, Roots, and Shoots, good morning. You live it. You be it. You do it. And then when you are that, and people see you actually doing it versus everybody else that's just talking about it, it puts the lie to all of their arguments and it adds credence to the things that you say. But I don't think we beat their temper tantrum by having an equal and opposite temper tantrum. I think that we beat their temper tantrum by being the voice of reason in the world and being able to speak from experience with authority because we're doing the things that we espouse to believe. And to a greater extent, that's why I encourage y'all to go do the things. Go do it. So. Single accounts, insider intel, and miscellaneous. Regarding the ship fire at the naval base in San Diego, I live about 20 minutes from the shipyard, and as soon as I opened my front door, I could smell the fire. Smells heavily of chemicals and like an electrical fire. End quote. The number of reported injuries has risen to 57. Good morning, Roger Rabbit Hole. Dollar General has told their employees not to enforce the wearing a mask mandate in Kentucky because they cannot legally do so. It's causing a lot of friction between employees and customers. The employees are also worried about losing their jobs due to shutdowns by the health department. And in international news, certain Chinese maritime claims in the South China Sea may be formally rejected by Washington as the, quote, claims pose the single greatest threat to the freedom of the seas in modern history, end quote. And legitimately with that, y'all gotta talk quietly amongst yourselves for a moment because I have gots to pee. So give me a minute. Y'all play nice, blue wrenches, stay on top of it. I'll be right back. Can you see that? Praise John, pass the ammo. Get him, Paul. I don't know what Paul's doing, but get him, Paul. We heard you, bear. Yeah, I wash my hands. Not a heathen. Wash hands. Okay, Dad. All right, so listen. Listen up, people. AdventureFrontier.com. Where do you go to get your armor? You go to AdventureFrontier.com. There. Oh, 4 thumbs down. Paul, don't worry about them. We have haters. Crazy Goat Lady, bless you. As I sit here listening to the radio, they're saying a tourniquet to a patient in the county. Amen, NWA Prepper. See that? So here's the deal. At AdventureFrontier.com, you can get your armor. You can also get your IFAKs, including the bare minimum and the bare FAK and the active shooter response kit, all of which contain tourniquets. Or armor or bare FAK first. I'll answer that question in a minute. Or, as you can see, NWA Prepper runs AdventureFrontier.com. They are applying a tourniquet as we speak. So having tourniquets is important, very important. If you have an arterial bleed, which looks like no other type of bleeding, bright red blood, uncontrollable, pressure isn't stopping it, now it's time to tourniquet, okay? If you don't have a tourniquet, yes, you can improvise a tourniquet. But you know what works better than an improvised tourniquet? A tourniquet. So, I literally have a SWAT tee in my back pocket right now. TCCC. Yes, Ducks, we're going to talk about that. But at AdventureFrontier.com, you can get your Spartan armor, your level 3+, your level 4, your triple curve, anti-spalt coating, side plates, Ranger carrier, MOPC, all of the stuff. They have all of the stuff. So you can get your armor there. You can get your IFAKs there, individual first aid kits there, including the bare FAK and the bare minimum. And you can also get your fluffy bunny stickers from AdventureFrontier.com. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rob. And so, by popular demand, you can get your fluffy bunny stickers there. And you can use promo code BEARNATION for $10 off your armor at Adventure Frontier. And for y'all that don't know, there's like no margin in armor. And so, the fact that they would give you a $10 bill back on their armor is White Fox, exactly, bless you. Code BEARNATION got me $10 off each carrier. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like a legit... It's legit. It's a legit promo code. People's Truth, bless you. And so, they're awesome. They're awesome people. NWA Prepper at AdventureFrontier.com. He also has a great prepping channel. So if you're into prepping, you should go check out NWA Prepper. But armor, check. IFAKs, check. Fluffy bunnies, check. And then briefly, remember, Bear Nation for $10 off your armor. Bear Nation is the code. And then somebody asked, should I get an IFAK first or armor first? And my answer unequivocally is IFAK first. Here's why. There are far more instances currently in today's world where you need medical equipment than you need armor. So there's been several bear FAKs that have been used to save lives that in no way were in a tactical situation. Motor vehicle accidents, sporting accidents, things like that. So IFAK over the armor for sure. Also, I have several chest rigs that are not armor, but have IFAKs hanging on them. And so I would say the IFAK first and then the armor. So especially if you do anything with firearms, which if you're even thinking about armor means that yes, it's called first aid for a reason. Exactly. Medical always trumps tactical for me. Amen. So, Joshua, bless you. Thank you. Bear, you know this is July, right? Is it? I thought it was September-ish. If you get shot in the arm, armor no good. Correct. Mark Ivy, bless you. So, yeah, I would get an IFAC before I would get armor for sure. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you. Let's go into actionable. If you're struggling to find ammo, you can try the ammoseek.com search engine. You can try it. Level 3 or level 4. I literally just this morning went into, on Patreon, my body armor philosophy. It's available there on Patreon. Just literally unpacked all of that that's on Patreon as of this morning. Try ammoseek.com if you're looking for ammo. Make sure your fire extinguishers are ready to go. Yeah, they should always be ready to go, but there is still a bunch of explosives floating around right now. Be in communication with your neighbors and your sheriff's department and be prepared as a group for civil unrest. Tony John, I don't think it does. New firearms transaction record has all of your buyer information on the front page. Makes it easy to snap a pic of your info and steal your identity, so be aware of that. Let's see, reach out and socially support others. Suicide is on the rise, even among children sequestered at home. So just tell people you love them. Excuse me. Landlocked sailor, good morning. If you cannot acquire a freezer for meat, remember that pressure canning, pickling, and freeze drying are options. Also consider looking on alternative markets like Bookface and List of Craigs for individual sellers of freezers. Alternative food resources include Asian people and their requisite stores, Amish people, their requisite stores, Mormon people, and their requisite stores. It's just people, find people, they have food. Local farmers and their requisite stores of cattle and grain. And buy in bulk as a group. Done this with my tribe and my mag multiple times. Buy in bulk as a group. It gets the shipping down, the cost down. Maybe you can't butcher an entire cow nor store an entire cow, but your group can, right? So, no, don't buy from wet markets. Definitely do not buy from wet markets. AVT. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah, we're talking about the haters with the thumbs down. I don't lose sleep over them. These people have such a miserable life that they sit around and wait to get a notification from me that they can jump on here and give me a thumbs down. That's ridiculous. Yes, Asian people are alternative food. With a little bit of soy sauce and some wasabi, it's delicious. You just slice it fresh right off and dip it in the... It's absolutely delicious. Trolls are stupid. What a miserable life they lead. What a miserable life they lead. So, like, on the one hand, I have compassion for those people. On the other hand, I have compassion for those people. Because here's the deal. Were they sitting here face to face? Appalachian Preparedness, Shaloha. But you're hungry again an hour later. That's exactly right. If they were sitting right here face to face, they wouldn't have the tough words that they have. They would have to figure out a better way to say it. Because, see, in the real world, there's real ramifications for behaving poorly. And so, hold on. I appreciate your consideration, but it's all good. If you need to use that door, go for it.
I know, guys.
It's just me and 1,000 people from the internet. So, no biggie. Yes, ma'am. So, were they sitting here face to face, they'd have different words for sure. And this gets back to one of my favorite quotes. Idealism increases with distance from the problem. Idealism increases with distance from the problem. It's much easier to be ideal over there than it is to get in the reality right here. Right? Idealism increases with distance from the problem. So, if you need medical supplies, go to bearindependent.com, use your HSA card. You can also look at midwife and veterinarian supply stores. If you cannot obtain seed in your area, use your pantry. Dry beans, seed found inside the ripe squash and tomatoes from your garden, potatoes that have been left to sprout eyes, and so forth. You can also plant your food storage corn, your food storage pintos. I've done this. So, and stay politically vigilant and active. There's a lot of shenaniganry going on out there. So, good morning, Bama Blue Eyes. Yeah, that someone wasn't you. Just messing. Or am I? Motivate harder. Silver linings. Coffee-ish. Coffee asterisk. Cucumbers are as long as my arm. Well, you should have picked them weeks ago, because when they get that big, they get bitter and spongy. You want to pick them when they're nice and small so that they stay sweet and crisp. That's how you make good pickles. That's how you make good salad. You don't want big giant cucumbers. It's not about the bragging rights with the cucumbers, because it's otherwise useless. What you made was a bunch of compost and chicken food, not tasty food. I'm bitter and spongy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Silver linings. Quote, my hobby blueberry farm is producing a great crop this year. We had a man-made disaster last year that wiped out a whole acre. Despite this, we'll have more berries than we can pick. The weather was absolutely perfect this year in southwest Michigan, and all the producers are cranking out berries. Sadly, the market is weak, and the farmers are hurting for money, but at least this should help ease the coming food shortages. Agreed, and that's awesome that you got that awesome harvest. A thought does come to mind, though, when it comes to farmers struggling for money. And that thought is that debt is slavery. Debt is slavery. And modern agriculture is in very large part predicated on carrying a debt load, and that sucks because it creates a cycle of slavery, of control that the farmers can't get out of, or it's very difficult to break out of. So, on the one hand, I definitely feel for the farmers, and I hope that there's a way for you to get out of that situation. On the other hand, it would be my counsel to not get into bad situations in the first place. Very expensive Benjamin Franklin crooks to get started, and then also to maintain. But you know what happens is people look at the economy of scale of farming and they say, well, if you really want to be a farmer, you could start with $50,000 in equipment, but wouldn't it be better to start with $5 million? Well, how am I going to pay for $5 million? Don't worry, we'll bill you monthly. Emma Wizard, bless you, thank you. We'll bill you monthly. It'll just be, $10,000 a month, but you're going to look at all this yield that you're going to get. You're going to make $250,000 this year, and we'll take half of that for the payment, but you'll still have $120,000. That's a good living, man. And you're like, you know what? I can get down with that. But that's not what happens. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes it works that way when everything cooperates, and sometimes it doesn't. Then you have crop failures, and then your crop insurance pays out. Then you have a second crop failure in a row, and it doesn't. And then this cycle of debt, you start circling the drain of debt on these farms. And now the people that we are dependent upon to eat are in a position where they can't do their jobs. And that sucks. That sucks a lot, which is one of the many reasons that we should be independent of this fragile system, and one of the many reasons that I just scream it from the rooftops, eliminate your debt. Because I would rather be working small acreage with $50,000 in equipment than working big acreage, $50,000 in equipment that I own, than working big acreage with $5 million worth of equipment that the bank owns. Remember that whole beholden to no man thing? Beholden to no man. So, and the other thing that that does is that it allows us to decentralize. I'd rather have 100 5-acre farms than one 500-acre farm. Because if I get schwacked by hail, or wild hogs run through my stuff and wreck it, but you're good. Yeah. Alan, bless you. All right, back to silver linings. An older couple that relocated from Rhode Island to Tennessee have their home built. From Rhode Island to Tennessee to have their home build started and have met some really good people. Quote, I could feel God's hand moving us in this direction for a long time, and honestly should have made this move years ago. And I underlined this next sentence. I'm living proof that nothing kills a good plan better than the fantasy of a great plan. Let me restate that. I am living proof that nothing kills a good plan better than the fantasy of a great plan. With faith and perseverance, all will work according to his plan, and that makes it a perfect plan. Thanks for all you do. Amen. Remember that. Nothing kills a good plan better than the fantasy of a great plan. Ashley, 421, thank you. Bless you. That's definitely a quotable. We'll be hanging on to that one. And my small country church had to close again due to COVID, but our community as a whole is doing well and relatively unaffected. Relatives and friends have been calling for advice about weapons, food, and medical preparation. I have been directing them to your content and to others. Thanks again for helping guide us back to Yeshua. All praise to the Most High. It's awesome. Whew. Okay. Bear Nation, you can find each other, like-minded people, local food resources, training, and more at the forums at bearindependent.com. Go to bearindependent.com/forum or just go to the website. Did Badger have another great idea? I missed it. I think I'm going to need to be emailed on that. Need to find an animator to make a tactical chicken fluffy bunny show. Man, we got enough irons in the fire right now. The last thing we need is like children's prepping cartoons. Although, now that I say it, that sounds like an awesome idea. All right, Badger, great idea. You're in charge of that. Swag and gear can be found in the online store at bearindependent.com. Please check out Veterans for Child Rescue, Craig Sawyer, vets4childrescue.org, and their full-length documentary, contralandmovie.com. These are hardcore people who are doing hardcore things for kids that have been trafficked, children that have been treated as product, and they do what they say they're going to do. And boy, that is all I can ask for. This is straight up Torah. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you say it, do it. So please check out vets4childrescue.org. Let them know that Bear sent you, and check out the Contraland movie and just continue to raise awareness as to what's going on out there. April Cisco, amen. To support Grindstone Ministries, you can visit us at grindstoneministries.com. Grindstone being our charitable organization that is funded and run by the Bear Nation and that is assisting in the rescuing and rehabilitation of victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. And it started as a disaster recovery effort and quickly morphed into, oh, there's this major issue with scumbags using children as product. We need to do something about that because there's enough people doing disaster recovery and disaster relief. There's not enough people doing anything about human trafficking and sex crimes. And so we morphed pretty quickly into that. And that's what we do now. So if you would like to support us at Grindstone Ministries, Zen Vivian, you're about to get smashed. Shh. If you'd like to support us in the doing of that, you can visit grindstoneministries.com. And we appreciate you deeply, Bear Nation. We are 100% funded by you, by the way, which is awesome. 100% supported by y'all. You can also drink coffee, disastercoffee.com. You can get dressed with sanctifiedsupplyco.com. Or you can get prepared with Amendment 1 Preparedness, Amendment the number 1 Preparedness.com. You can use promo code BEAR for 10% off any order at Sanctified Supply Co. So, appreciate y'all. Also, don't be afraid to check out Blaze Defense Systems. You can use code BEAR for 10% off fire suppression there. Blaze Defense Systems. Check them out. Let me know what y'all think. Let's talk to the Father. Oh, Intel. Intel at bearindependent.com. Need your reports. We need your silver linings, please and thank you. We can't make this report without y'all. So, Intel at bearindependent.com. Your silver linings, your reports of what you're seeing out there, especially our international people. Love hearing from y'all. Please tell me what you got going on. And then on Patreon this morning, again, my body armor philosophy. No, do not send a message on Patreon. Please do not send a message on Patreon. This is why, and I appreciate you, but listen. Intel goes to intel at bearindependent.com. I tell my patrons to please not message me because it is the largest pain in the ass in my current existence to attempt to answer Patreon messages. So I'm not going to get into it here, but suffice it to say there's not a greater friction point in my life than Patreon messages. So please don't Patreon message me. You can email me and you can send your intel to intel at bearindependent.com. Love you back, Lee. So, why am I at a hotel? That's on Patreon. Where's all the exclusive content? It's on Patreon. The BIA, I like it. When will training dates be announced for TCCC classes with the BearFac? On Patreon. Within the next 24 hours. Currently, there's 2 classes. Each class will have 20 seats. That's this many seats. 2 classes, 20 seats, 2 dates in northwestern Arkansas. Those are the first 2 that will be announced. The cost of the class will include the TCCC trainer kit and 4-hour block of instruction from a Marine Combat Corpsman who was attached to SEAL teams in Trashkanistan. And you can also add a BearFac at a reduced cost to that as well when you check out. So you can take the course with the TCCC trainer kit or take the course with the TCCC trainer kit and get the BearFac at the course, whichever you prefer. And I will announce that on Patreon first, very likely today. There are 2 classes. Each class holds 20 people. Never any more than 20 people. It'll be in Northwest Arkansas. Details will be on Patreon today, and AVT is correct. Riots may affect shipping times. So, gosh, with all of that, now we should most certainly pray. It's 7:30 in the morning here. Let's do this thing. Canuck, shalom. Good morning, Father Yah. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. Thank you for sunshine and for birds tweeting and for stability and rest and constancy, even as the world wars against us, Father. Thank you for creating opportunities for us to step onto the battlefield. Thank you for the reminder that we are born into a world at war, Father, and we forget this to our own detriment. That the enemy is stalking like a lion. And if we don't even acknowledge the fact that we are in combat, we most certainly will not win the battle. So, Father, thank you for reminders with that, and thank you for being sovereign over all things. Exodus 15:3, Yahuwah is a warrior, Yahuwah is his name. He goes forth and fights for Israel. So, Father, thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. You humble me, Father, and I thank you for it. If there's anything within the sound of my mouth that is not of you, we reject it, we rebuke it, and command it to flee in the name of Yeshua. I pray that you'd fill us up this very moment with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, Father, that you would be indwelt in us for wisdom and power and strength and authority, for peace, for comfort that surpasses all understanding, for provision and blessing, for guidance, for knowledge, Father. That you would be sovereign over our lives, that you would use us for your will, that you would teach us how to live this life that you've given us, that you've redeemed us to, that you've called us through this walk with Messiah to come closer to you every day. Father, build testimony in us. Use us to serve your kingdom. Teach us. Teach our hands to war, Father. Fill our souls up with you. Allow our mind to meditate on you. Be our everything. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for making a way for busted up, broken people like me. And like these people within the sound of my voice, Father. Thank you for relentlessly pursuing us. And thank you for the opportunity to serve your kingdom. And I pray that you would use us to do that today. I ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Bear Nation, if this morning got any better, I couldn't stand it. I appreciate y'all deeply. Be thinking about who's your one. Who does the Father have for you this week? Marlo, Marlo, oh baby, let my people go. Oh man. I feel the peace. This is good. Bless y'all. Shalom, Bear Nation.